The mainstream media's focus on sexual abuse in Hollywood is bringing to light the demented nature of the industry. While they bring these scandals to light in an attempt to highlight male dominance, they only tell half the story. What many news outlets avoid is that this sexual abuse is not limited to adults. Children are being molested, raped, and sodomized. This is the real dirt on those in power. The real story that needs to be talked about. The number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia, Corey Feldman said, adding that by the time he was 14, he was surrounded by molesters. Elijah Wood commented saying clearly something major was going on in Hollywood. It was all organized. There are a lot of vipers in this industry, people who only have their own interest in mind. There is darkness in the underbelly. What bums me out about these situations is that the victims can't speak as loudly as the people in power. That's the tragedy of attempting to reveal what is happening to innocent people. They can be squashed, but their lives have been irreparably damaged. In a recent interview, Feldman says it's all connected to a bigger, darker power. I don't know how high up the chain that power goes, but I know that it probably is outside of the film industry too. It's probably in the government. It's probably throughout the world in different dark aspects. When asked to elaborate on that statement, he added, I believe that pedophilia in Hollywood is the symptom of a huge network motivated by dark forces. People cover up stories like this for power, for greed, and they choose to ignore victims because they don't want to have to think about what they did or didn't do that led to the kids being in harm's way. The dark forces that have invaded since the beginning of time have imposed their will on innocent children as a show of power. Hollywood, an industry built on worldly success and money, has been infiltrated by pedophiles. With the Weinstein scandal, many other cases of sexual abuse in Hollywood are being brought to remembrance. Roman Polanski, Jared Fogle, Woody Allen, and Bryan Singer are just a few of the well-known cases of pedophilia in Hollywood. The more this is brought into the limelight, the more we will see Hollywood exposed. As Janine Pirro said, this is not over. It is not just adult women. It is human trafficking. It is child sex trafficking. It is real pedophilia in a town where there are no rules, where the truth is stranger than fiction, and where fiction is based on reality. This video will include the updates and details on some of the most appalling accusations and convictions to date. Oscar winner Roman Polanski is well known not only for being the director of the demonic film Rosemary's Baby and The Pianist, but also for his sick obsession with children in the industry. Polanski was arrested and charged with statutory rape, sodomy, and child molestation after allegedly drugging and having sexual relations with a 13-year-old girl in 1977. He pled guilty to unlawful sexual intercourse with 13-year-old Samantha Geimer in pretrial custody and spent a month and a half behind bars. After being released, he fled to France to avoid further jail time, fearing his plea bargain would be overruled. Being that he's a French citizen, he can't be extradited, although there is a warrant for his arrest. Recently, Polanski was accused yet again of sexually assaulting a minor. A California artist says he molested her in 1975 when she was only 10 years old. This is the 5th allegation of abuse made against Polanski. Former Subway pitchman Jared Fogle has tried to argue that he's a sovereign citizen, claiming a federal court that convicted him on child pornography and sexual conduct involving minors did not have the authority to do it. Fogle filed a motion on his own earlier this month in U.S. District Court in the Southern District of Indiana, saying he wanted to correct an error regarding subject matter jurisdiction in the case. His defense? That he is a sovereign citizen, a group the FBI calls a domestic terrorist movement, believing federal, state, and local governments operate illegally. In his motion, Fogle pointed to a friend of the court brief that was previously filed by a fellow inmate in the same federal prison, stating whether a jurisdiction judgment is lawful depends on whether the sovereign has authority to render it. Fogle's argument was thrown out. If Fogle is now claiming to be sovereign, The Seventh Circuit has rejected theories of individual sovereignty, immunity from prosecution, and their ilk. U.S. District Judge Tanya Walton Pratt wrote Wednesday in her decision on the matter. She added that regardless of his theory, Fogle's challenge of this court's jurisdiction is rejected. The Rocky star Sylvester Stallone allegedly forced a teenage girl into having sex with him and his bodyguard at the Las Vegas hotel more than 3 decades ago, according to a police report uncovered overnight. The 16-year-old filed the report with Las Vegas police alleging that Stallone and his bodyguard, Mike DeLuca, intimidated them into having sex with her at a hotel in 1986. The police report was first obtained by the Daily Mail. Stallone denied the allegations through his spokeswoman, Michelle Bega. No one was ever aware of this story until it was published today, including Mr. Stallone. At no time was Mr. Stallone ever contacted by authorities or anyone else regarding this matter. Some of the biggest names in cinema have been accused of pedophilia. The worst of all has to be Woody Allen, who was accused of raping his own daughter. When I was 7 years old, Woody Allen took me by the hand and led me into a dim, closet-like attic on the 2nd floor of our house. He told me to lay on my stomach and play with my brother's electric train set, Allen's daughter Dylan Farrow claims. Then he sexually assaulted me. Farrow took her father to court for it, but she was not able to prove it. The judges, though, ruled that the best interests of these children would be served by remaining together in custody of Miss Farrow instead of Allen. He even forbid Allen from visiting his children. It does not help Allen's case that he married his adoptive stepdaughter, nor does it help that his own son, Ronan Farrow, also thinks that he did it. I believe my sister, Ronan said. He was not there to see it happen, but he confirmed something else his sister had claimed. Woody Allen, both children agree, would climb into Dylan's bed at night and force her to suck his thumb. Unfortunately, the Hollywood hypocrisy is prevalent again, as Allen's latest movie, Wonder Wheel, which closed the New York Film Festival in October, is set to be released on December 1st. Bryan Singer. Even if you have not heard his name, odds are you have seen one of his movies. He is the director responsible for the X-Men movies, The Usual Suspects, and alleged sexual assaults of at least 3 underage boys. His most famous accusation comes from Michael Egan, who met Singer at a party when he was 15 years old. Singer, Egan claims, sat the 15-year-old boy on his lap, fed him alcohol and drugs, and promised a role in X-Men. Then, while Egan protested, he sodomized him. After that, Egan claims Singer raped him regularly, threatening that if he ever told anyone about it, he would murder his family. That accusation has never been proven in court, but it is not the only one Singer has heard. Another 14-year-old boy has accused Singer of anally raping him. When the Weinstein story broke, Singer's name was flung around as many wondered if he too would feel the wrath of victims stepping forward. This discussion was brought on by a disappointment with the way Singer's suits had ended. The first, in 1997, was dismissed due to insufficient evidence. The second was withdrawn, and the third was dismissed at the accuser's request. On the 1st of November, a man named Justin Smith took to Twitter to detail his own experience with the director. The tweets detailed how Singer moved around with a posse of older 50 to 70-year-old men and boys of ages 16 and 17. One night, Smith claimed Singer sexually assaulted him. To add to the strange silence surrounding the filmmaker's accusers, Reddit users this week noticed how articles on Singer were removed from multiple publications. Also, students at USC are petitioning to have Singer's name removed from the cinema school. They're already up to 4,000 signatures. Singer has managed to get every one of these accusations thrown out, and so he keeps working as one of Hollywood's most successful directors. These men are not the first, and they will not be the last of the accused and convicted. Stay tuned for more updates. Thank you so much for watching. God bless and carry on.